Gear Tasting Radio is brought to you by Imminent Threat Solutions. ITS provides knowledge that empowers individuals with indispensable skill sets to explore the world and prevail against all threats. Right now, as a special thank you for all podcast listeners, we're offering 10% off in the ITS store. Simply use the code GTR to save 10% at store.itstactical.com. Welcome to Gear Tasting Radio, where we offer an in-depth look into the usage and philosophy behind the equipment in our lives. I am Bryan Black, joined by Rob Henderson.
Hello.
And today we are going to talk about why complacency kills. And to illustrate this, we are going to attempt to beat ourselves up on the podcast. I'm kidding. But I did bring in my bag that I have that I probably put together, I'd say roughly 4 or 5 years ago now, and it was my attempt to have something at home that I could grab if I had to in an emergency. And I hate the term bug out bag. It's just so overused that I don't even like saying it anymore, but I just did, obviously, because everybody knows what that is.
Right.
I refer to it more as a emergency bag, or, I almost want to say bolt bag because you'd grab it if you had to bolt. But that's more of a terminology that we've talked about with in regards to kind of having that inside of a larger bag, and then you can grab that and go and kind of ditch your heavier pack, which that's not exactly what this is either. But this was my attempt to kind of put something together that I was already familiar with. So it's all contained in the GoRuck GR2. And the reason I chose that is because I have a lot of experience with the pack. So I have climbed mountains I've actually climbed 14ers with this pack, so I've humped it up to 14,000 feet. I've been there with the GoRuck Ascent doing that, and I really enjoyed it. The pack did well. Back then I did have my complaints, like it didn't have a waist strap, which they've now kind of come out with an add-on that can do that. But true to form, I did that without a waist strap. However, I did have a sternum strap, and that helped considerably to disperse the weight off my shoulders a little bit. But long story short, I have experience with the pack. I know how it works. I know that I can hike long distances with it if need be. I know that with the proper footwear and the proper backpack, I can survive with the stuff in there. So that was kind of my thought process behind that. And in this bag, I've got more than just supplies for me. It was also built at a time when my stepson was living with us, and it was my way of saying, okay, I weighed this bag. I know that I can top out at probably 35-ish pounds of equipment before I'm too fatigued with what I'm carrying on my back. So I knew that if I could keep it under a specific weight, I already have experience with that weight on me, and I knew what I could do with that. So that was kind of the basis for this. And what I wanted to do today is just really kind of go over the things in here and how things have changed and progressed for me, because this is a sore subject for me. This is a complacency nightmare. I probably haven't touched the contents of this bag for probably 2 years now, at least. So I'm really kind of falling down on my
So we should grade
my
this.
refresh. Yeah.
Like when you get through, you can give yourself a grade of how good your pack was from A to F.
Yeah, well, a lot of it, too, is what I've learned in the past couple of years, too,
Right.
because I know there's plenty of things in this bag that I no longer think are relevant, or that I know of better things to reduce weight with, and all kinds of good stuff. So,
Well, I think your planning brain always thinks that your actual brain can handle more. Because I'm just as guilty of that, of like, I'm taking all this stuff, and you get your first run or leg of the ruck down, and you're like, I'm not taking any of this stuff. Throw it all away. I don't need it.
Well, and that's what I did. I really just went off of weight. I put as much in here as I could based on the weight that I wanted to hit, like a target weight, which I shouldn't have done. That was kind of a...
You had to pull out like a portable fan and stuff.
And again, that was built 5 years ago before I really got into like lightweight backpacking and really cared about the weight of things.
Yeah.
And since then, all I've done is refresh the things that expire in here, and I did that for a few years before I even dropped the ball on that. So really, this is a 5-year-old look at what I was carrying at that time and probably a couple years with expiration dates. If we do find expiration dates that are 5 years old, I'm really going to.
I was going to say, this is like a bug out time capsule.
That's right. It is.
So we'll see.
All right. So the reason I like the GR2 as well is it's got these kind of different internal pockets. And I'm going to attempt to describe the items as best I can because I know this is a podcast. I know we've got YouTube and a video going on it as well, but I really also wanted to just talk through everything too to make sure.
So it's got a lot of like zippered organization.
Yeah. And this was the first generation of GR2 that they made.
I can tell. It's got steel zippers.
Yep. So kind of this, oh boy.
Right out of the gate.
I'm embarrassed.
Just right out of the gate. When's the last time any of you guys saw a power bar?
I would still try to eat them. If I was in a survival situation, I would still eat these. Oh, Lord.
Man dies of dysentery.
I don't even want to say the expiration date.
How bad is it? I'm trying to remember the last time I even looked at a power bar.
Okay. I will say as a caveat that I was off in my guesstimation that it had been 2 years since I've gone through here and looked at expiration dates. October 2014.
Whew.
They're hard as a rock.
Now they're tools. You can use it to build a structure.
So I ate one too because I don't know when I ate one, but I used to have 6 in here, and now I have 5. Oh wait, there it is.
Where did you determine 6?
Two per person.
Okay.
So there's 3 of us.
So that was one of my questions: is how long is this supposed to be for?
I would say this could probably get us through a week if need be.
Okay. So like stretch it.
More probably like 3 days.
Yeah.
And again, that's probably wrong too.
Well, 2 weeks if you're trying to chew this.
All right. So this was my pocket that I'm looking through that kind of had, I guess, food. Mm-hmm. I guess that's probably a good way to say it. So food and sustenance, and so like water purification tabs are in here, which expired in. I'm not going to read every expiration date because obviously you guys know I'm full of it.
I think there are some things that are a little more passable to have expired than others.
Yeah, this is 17, so it's not too bad.
That's not too bad.
Okay, so
I would use those.
That's a bunch of Catadine water tabs, which are really good for purifying water. Still, these, and the reason I like these micro pure tabs is because we've talked about this before with water purification, is that these will kill virus rather than most stuff out there like a water pump, which will
just bacteria.
Yeah, correct.
Okay.
So I've got sugar packets, some tea. I've got some English breakfast tea.
Nice.
What is this? I got 6 packages of bouillon. So this is like chicken bouillon.
Bouillon can be the best.
And I've got, I don't know, 5 or 6 tea bags too.
And see, that's one of the items like bouillon. I don't think I would consider an expiration date.
No. I mean, it does expire.
Yeah, but I wouldn't consider it. It's salt.
Yeah.
You're fine.
I don't know if that was even one of the things on my list of things to replace. So the other thing too is I'm noticing is that I'm depending on the inherent waterproof or water resistance of this bag. So this is like a coated 1000D nylon that they've used in this construction. Mm-hmm. However, if a downpour happens, water is still getting in, and I just have these really crappy plastic bags over stuff like the bouillon and tea, which would, if it got wet, would be compromised.
Disgusting.
Yeah. A couple packs of emergency, probably 6 of those as well. Some salt and pepper. Yep. I've got still in the package. I've got a mechanical yo-yo fishing reel.
Nice.
This is a water key. So this is like a 4-sided key that I put in here. This was probably more of a recent thing that I added, probably within the last 2 years. I'm just going to say that every time I say 2 years, it's more like 4 years, and every time I say 4 years, it's more like 6 years. So I'm just going to like add
as you see fit.
Plus 2.
Yeah.
But anyway, this is great for the water spigots that don't have handles. So sometimes people will either remove handles or they'll never have handles, so they can't be used by other people, and this will allow you to get water.
Yeah, a lot of commercial places will have a little water hookup on
this is one of those things that you don't think you need until you absolutely need it. So, I mean, if things ever happen and you had to rely on a water source, you're going to need that more than likely. This is a little fishing kit I got from Survival Resources. I love John over there. He's always been a source of inspiration for me in regards to putting together kits and survival stuff. So I really like what he did with that. And then this is a little Altoids tin full of Jolly Ranchers that are
When you first pulled that out, I'm like, oh, it's mints. No, it can't be mints. It's probably a survival kit. Nope, it's Jolly Ranchers.
This is like one of those Dairy Queen blizzards.
Yeah.
So like when you drive through and you get one, they
Put it
dump
upside down.
dump it
Yeah.
upside down and make sure it can't fall
And
out.
it's hard candy. Yeah.
It's hard candy that's stuck in my Altoids.
That's
tin,
Texas
so,
heat.
Yeah.
And that really helps us to kind of realize what we're going to carry, because you leave anything inside a car in Texas in the summer and it will melt.
And I've also got 3 titanium. Wait, is it 3? Yeah, 3 titanium sporks in here.
So
Actually, it's a spoon.
lightweight backpacking me is like, y'all can share a utensil. That's fine. Just eat in turns. Toss 2 of them.
But
But
I didn't want to
have.
do that.
No.
But yeah. I have one of these that was my attempt of like turning titanium different colors by putting it over heat.
Nice.
And I was kind of successful. And then I realized it's more anodizing. Anyway, that's the food portion of that. And I think I've got MREs in the larger part, but that's like small food. Just to keep this organized, I want to keep it in piles so I know where to put it back. Oh boy, this is great. So here's a living testament to why I have switched to lithium batteries.
Oh yeah.
This is getting into like my comms type area. So this is 2 little handheld radios, which are complete crap.
Yep.
I would never use one of these nowadays. I would have 2 Walksoons or a comparable radio like that that I could get on at least a ham frequency. But so I've got AA and AAA batteries in here, and some disc batteries, the 2038s, 2032s. I don't remember where those are from. I'm sure. Oh, it's a headlamp that I have in here. But anyway, you can see how the corrosion has just gotten to all the batteries, and it's more than likely even gotten into the radio itself. I don't keep batteries in the radios, and I knew that.
I mean, you do have them bagged, which is good.
Yeah.
Individually.
Oh, that's true.
Nice.
So the corrosion was contained
it's
in the bag.
It's at least contained inside the bag. That's pretty good.
And it's actually liquid still, which means that it's really bad corrosion. But that's the reason that I use lithiums, is because that stuff corrodes.
Yep.
Then I've got a little hand crank radio from, I guess you say Eaton. I don't know how you pronounce this company, but it's like a little emergency.
This is like a
emergency weather radio.
Oh yeah.
I don't know if it works or not.
Oh, it did, just for 1 second. You just have to keep cranking.
Okay.
It's amazing what you can do with physical
It's not working.
exertion.
Anyway.
Okay.
Well, I'm going to look at that later because I'm really curious if it still works. Then I have a notepad. I've got a crappy bubble compass temperature or thermometer thing that there's a huge bubble in the compass, so that doesn't work. I've also got a Write in the Rain pen with a spare cartridge, which is in perfect condition, and a pencil, which is not deteriorated either. I do have a rubber band around a cloth tape measure that's probably well past its prime.
Cloth tape measure is a good idea. You get a lot of footprint savings over like a retractable metal one.
Yeah, and I also think that this was before we started selling Riggers rubber bands, which are far superior to regular rubber bands.
Less corrosion resistant.
And a Write in the Rain notebook. And that's all contained in a little bag as well.
Yeah.
And so that's, what would you call that? Comms?
Yeah, I would say comms and like admin or like note taking.
Yep. All right, so this is probably signaling.
Yeah.
Sorry.
No.
And I was apologizing to the people at home because I just bumped the mic.
Oh, I thought you bumped me. I was like, no, you didn't.
Okay, expires 8 of 17 for the chem lights, and I know these are still good. Chem lights are usable well past their expiration date. I think I've cracked a chem light that's like 5 years old and it was fine still.
Yeah.
So those are probably fine. I have 4 green chem lights. I have some signal flares, a little survival whistle, a what do you call that?
MPIL.
MPIL, thank you. And I also have kind of a more full size, or it's probably like a cut down signal panel. I know this is cut down. And then a larger size signal mirror, as well as the signal flares. So that's
you're getting people's attention with this.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
So I think that's probably good to go. I would definitely cut down on some weight, though, with this. That's one thing I really didn't talk about is what I would do different. But I'd rather go through it all, and then we can kind of look at compartments. So now... So this is, I think, my fire starting light kind of junk drawer. Oh, wait, hold on.
Every bag needs a junk drawer.
I got something else in signaling. I got pace count beads, a compass, full-size compass, a little Silva Ranger, and a UTM protractor.
Do you know your pace count?
Yes, it's 38 for 100 meters.
Yeah, that sounds right.
I think that's right.
Mine's 37.
It is?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right
And
around
that's
there.
right. So I've got some candles that have melted inside the vacuum seal bag that I put them in. Some tinder. So this is like the basically the fat wood dust. They call it Maya dust, but that's fat wood. And then I've got some Tinder Quick tabs, a lighter, a little sparker. Oh wow, that still works. Little thumb light. What do you call those things?
Like a micro light.
Yeah, micro light.
Yeah.
And then I've got this little Petzl headlamp, which I have since replaced in all my gear.
Yeah, but these are so cool.
But
It's
yeah.
so small.
But the batteries last for 10 years.
Yeah.
Like they're supposed to last for 10 years, and this is a different one where it's like a
Now, is that the one that takes the 2032 battery?
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
yeah.
Yeah.
But it's
Sweet.
got a little thing where you can like put it around your head.
I gotta say, for the footprint, that's real small.
Yeah.
But I like that. I mean,
Yeah.
as a backup or emergency,
It is
I think
super
that would
small.
be perfect.
Yeah. I would probably supplement this with kind of my EDC flashlight that I have.
Yeah.
Cotton ball soaked in Vaseline, some steel wool,
This is a neat container.
quadruple aught steel wool. Yeah. Do you know what that container is?
Yeah, it's a film container.
This is a film canister. I have 2 of them. I was about to slap Rob for not knowing
Those-
what that is.
Those
Look,
old
I have
35 millimeters.
I have a whole ring of those microlights. I have 3 of them. So one person or
So, yeah.
one per person. That's
Okay,
what I had.
I got you.
Yeah, and these are the better photon microlights too. They're not the.
Hey, they're working. That's
they have
great.
the auto engage on, so you don't have to squeeze it the whole.
I thought
time.
that was silly when I first saw it, but then I've actually had to use one before, and it's really nice to just be able to not have to sit there and press your thumb down.
Yep. Also have a magnesium fire starter, some boat matches or safety matches, a couple of Fresnel lenses.
Lots of different ways to start a fire, which
Yes,
is good.
I have lots.
We've
of
talked
lots of
about that a
different ways.
bunch.
Yep. I always have multiple redundancies when it comes to fire.
Always have them spares.
So that's kind of the outer compartments in terms of. Actually, wait, no, I have one more. The outer. So this is like my hygiene stuff. Yeah, it's all in this one little bag that's like a magnet towel thing. I have.
It's a good footprint.
I have a huge, way more than I need of the Wilderness Wash.
You guys are staying clean.
Lots of dental floss, a greenie weenie, some hand sanitizer, which I'm sure is
my
expired.
goodness. You
Oh,
have
boy.
a full size.
A full size tube. I know, dude. This is terrible.
That's like a 4-year supply of toothpaste.
I want to go back and slap 5-year ago me. Be like, stop, dude. Expired in 15. Great. Wonderful.
It's toothpaste. It can't.
I
Nah,
know.
come on. It's soap for your teeth.
Microfiber
Doesn't expire.
towel. I've also got some plastic bags back here for, makeshift tarps or like a, what do you call it? Something to put over a bag in the rain.
Oh, like
that
a
type of
pack
thing.
cover.
Yeah,
whatever.
right.
Stop the rain from getting in.
Paramex, 3 toothbrushes. I have 3 toothbrushes, so, it's emergency. We definitely can't share a toothbrush.
Or use your finger.
I do have a little mirror, which I think is important for, like,
Do you have?
look at how distorted that
Do you have
is.
like a
It's
razor
terrible.
for shaving?
I do not. I'm not going to shave.
Well,
That's the last thing I need to worry
So
about.
I have a razor for shaving, but then I've not
Why?
brought a mirror before, because I like my face to be baby smooth.
Even in a survival
Even
situation?
in a survival
Oh,
situation.
God. I think you're just embarrassed of how much facial hair you can't grow.
I know. I have to keep it. It grows in real patchy, so I have to keep it trimmed.
So that's my hygiene stuff. I do have a carabiner on the outside of the bag, just for clipping in things like gloves and
Everything.
yeah,
Socks, gloves.
yep, everything. So that's great for like drying socks on the go, FYI, if you keep a little mesh bag with you.
Yep.
All right, so this is the inner compartments. Man, there's a lot of stuff in this
There
bag.
is a lot of stuff. This is
telling
an
you.
impressive amount just for a bag.
Yep.
And now we're cracking into level 2.
Yeah, so level 2. All right, a completely boxed sewing all. Some
That's interesting.
Kinesis sunscreen, which is expired, I'm sure.
Mm-hmm.
Some bug repellent, some wet one, antibacterial wipes, a full roll of Battle Systems tape,
Sweet.
a sewing kit, some duct tape, super glue, tin foil, tripwire, just in case. Actually, it's great for letting you know if someone's coming. So I can rig up basically a device with a chem light that cracks.
Well, you could use that as a clothesline too.
Yep, very true. That's what I have paracord for, though.
Yeah.
So I don't
true.
know what you would call this. Repair sunscreen? I don't know.
Well, do you have other? Okay. Yeah. I guess the sewing all is the only thing I'm kind of like, What would you use that for?
Yeah. Well, it's for sewing, fixing stuff. Like, let's say a backpack strap came undone. You can use a
Oh, and you
like
can
that.
punch through
yeah.
it. Oh,
yeah.
that's a good idea.
It's like it's not very quick in the method, but it's really something you need to practice with first. But all right, so this compartment has got a bunch of paracord. Got 550 paracord. We've got some jute paracord, which is also great for fire starting. I've got way too much paracord in here, just FYI. Also, there is a complete collapsible fuel bladder in here. I mean, it's really not that big, but if I had to use it to gather water, I could. Also, even more tin foil. Oh, this is great. Look at this.
Are those 3D glasses?
No, they're just sunglasses. They're like portable. You laugh, but if you need sunglasses, you need sunglasses.
That's true.
And these are like those little ones they give you at the eye doctor when you get your eyes dilated.
Yeah.
But yeah, I have 3 of those in there.
It's still better than M frames.
Yeah. And 3 tarps, or ponchos. 3 little water ponchos. And some bandanas. So just in case you need to keep the sun off of you.
I mean,
3
some of that
bandanas.
stuff seems excessive, but at the same time, for exposure risk, especially down here.
Yeah.
I mean, we have some days where it get up to 115 degrees in the sunlight. If you don't have the ability to take cover, you'll be begging for anything to cover your face.
Okay, now we've reached the big compartment. I've got a full tarp in here that I can set up for a tarp shelter. It's got everything I need in here, stakes.
Yep.
Basically everything that I used in that article I wrote years ago. I've got just some generic, this is not even Kermanel style rope because I'm kicking myself for not putting that in there, but just regular rope. Multi-tool, this is a full-size Leatherman Wave with a little sharpening rod in the end, or in the back of it. I've got 3 of these little SOL emergency bivvies. So
Those
it's
are
basically
cool.
like a survival blanket, but on a bigger scale, one that you can actually climb into. So it's kind of like a makeshift sleeping bag.
Yep.
You know, but it's really small. Again, I have 3 of those because I have 3 of everything. And this is a full-size Cat9 pump water filter. So what I would do is I would pump with this into the water bag and put the tablets in there to kill anything viral, and that's what I would drink.
Nice.
That would be my process. Now I've got 3 full-size MREs, which I told you about earlier. I would probably claim the beef enchilada. I also got Sloppy Joe.
What's our
and-
date code on there?
Shh, we don't need to talk about that. Chicken and dumplings. Oh, I'll look. Hold on. Date code. I'm not opening them, but
Yeah,
I
no.
would have to. And see, that's the other thing. Like, I really need to open these and pack them smaller.
Yeah.
You know?
I see one over here starts with an
Oh,
8.
you do?
Yeah. I'm fairly certain that means it was made in 2008.
No, hold on.
No. I can't remember the MRE date code thing.
It says 9, or that's upside down. Which way is right?
Right there.
8120.
Yeah, so I believe that means that it was the
December of 2008.
2008 first month 20th day, I believe is how
Oh,
they do
okay.
MRE, because I'm not sure. We'll put a link. There's a really great site where you
Jeez,
can
I
see
hope that
MRE
wasn't from 2008.
info.
I would still eat it.
Yeah, I mean, whatever.
The interior stuff has expiration dates on them. Lots of toilet paper. I have 3 of those little rolls. A pair of shears, like medical shears. This is my cooking kit. Let's see what else I have in here. There's something going on here. Oh, I think I have a bladder in the back of this juice.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so that's a 100-ounce
Source bladder.
Source bladder.
Nice.
So like a hydration bladder. I've got a folding saw. This is a little Gerber
Oh, that's cool.
folding saw, so if I need to chop wood. And then I have my trusty fire knife, my Mora fire knife, which is
The
one of
best.
my favorite knives. It's not even used. You can take off the back cap like this as a ferro rod and light a fire.
Wow.
So-
Fancy.
and let's get into the cooking kit. That's the last thing. I'll try to hurry because I know I'm taking forever. But this is kind of my, I think it's from Snow Peak. It's called the TI Solo Cook Set, if I remember correctly. I'm sorry, I'm bouncing all over the mic. But this was something I put together that's got, so it's got a stove. It's basically what I would cook on. But, you know, as you see, I've got MRE, so I really don't have to cook.
Well, I was just thinking
and
that.
they've got heaters in the MREs.
But you have stuff like, bouillon.
Well, if I needed to boil water, I
yeah,
could.
it'd be nice for coffee, too.
Yeah, so this is a Snow Peak fuel canister. I've got 2 fuel canisters in here. I've got a little stove in this little bag. Way too many bags, by the way. I've got too much packaging and too many bags. That's contributing to a lot of the weight that I have. But yeah, it's a little
Nice.
titanium
Okay, so
cook
like
stove.
a little fold-out stove
Yep.
that sits on top of the canister.
Yep. And that's another reason I have foil, because you have to build a windscreen,
Yeah.
to heat up increase the efficiency of those. But yeah, it's titanium, so it's pretty lightweight in itself. It's got a little cup as well as a main container stove. I would put a jet boil in here now. I wouldn't take this. I think I can reduce weight and bulk, because not only can you heat up water in a jet boil, and not only is it quick, you're using fuel more efficiently.
Yeah.
You don't have to build a windscreen, things like that. Overall I would reduce packaging quite a bit.
Yeah.
As you can see, there's a lot of bags and things, but however, none of them are waterproof. I would probably convert a lot of the bags that are necessary to like lock sack bags that will at least provide a little more water protection. I need to obviously take everything out many times, at least once a year, because I've obviously been neglecting that for years.
But I mean, looking at the loadout, it's not outrageous.
Yeah.
Especially when you talk about for 3 people for up to a week. I mean, there's not really anything that's like, oh, you definitely don't need that. I mean, you didn't bring like, a portable shower or anything like that.
Did not.
It's all stuff that
I mean,
would be
the
comfortable.
basics are, do you have the ability to cook? Do you have the ability to build a fire? Do you have the ability to, get shelter if you need it? I do have all those things. I've got tools to make anything that I need. If I need to, construct a part of a shelter, I can do so. I've got the saw to saw limbs, and then a knife to kind of continue to break that down. I've also got a multi-tool which has a blade on it. That's my redundancy. One thing I don't have is like one of our survival kits. I'm just now seeing that, because I think I built this before we had that as a product. But anyway,
you have a lot of the components kind of
yeah, of
broken
course,
apart.
yeah. The components are kind of the larger versions of things we have in the survival kit anyway, in our little MSK. But yeah, I mean, the full size compass is important to me, as well as pace count beads. That's something that I would choose again if I had to. I do have better pace count beads now, but yeah, I mean, there's a couple of things that I would supplement with this, and we can kind of get into that in a future episode, because now that everything's out of this bag, I really need to start looking around and figuring out what I would replace. Obviously, my comms would just be non-existent.
Yeah.
Because my batteries got ruined. So I would open that up and go,
But like, what would you grade this?
I would probably grade this like a 80.
Yeah.
I would give it a solid B.
That's what I was
It's
thinking.
not an A bag, that's for sure.
But it's so close.
I don't think it gets into C territory necessarily, because the food is still edible.
Yep.
The shelter is still buildable. The fire is still ready to go.
Yeah.
The signaling is still good. Navigation component is excellent. I'm sure the sunscreen, even though expired, would still work. Same with the bug juice.
And you have some stuff like the candles that are melted, but it's still functional.
Yeah, they're still functional.
And then you probably have backups and stuff
Yep.
for a lot of that for redundancy.
And these are, I just recalled the name of these. These are Pink Lady candles. There's 3 of them in there. They're kind of better because they're slower burning.
That's cool.
But yeah, I have kind of the military signal flares too. Theirs aren't really available, but they do make a lot of commercial products now that are available for that type of thing.
And now I know we didn't talk about it, but I know you have a separate bag for first aid stuff.
I do.
Because
yes.
that's something that I think probably
That is something
people will
that is
comment
not
on,
in here.
But
Yep.
it's separate.
No, but
We've
that's
talked about that.
So that's a great point. It's not going to hurt me to downsize some of this and include just one of our boo kits.
True.
Because that's something that's not represented here. Because I have always thought of that as separate.
Yeah.
And I do have everything first aid wise in another bag that's large and packable and carried by somebody, and that's lighter weight. So therefore, I remember my thought process behind this, like, I'll carry the survival stuff, somebody else will carry medical supplies.
Yep.
And then I had a third bag that had clothing in it. So I was going to give that to Trey and have him carry that.
youngest,
Yeah,
like, here you
right.
go.
Because that's lighter weight.
Yep. That's a great
Because
idea.
that's another thing that's not covered here is clothing, and you're going to need different clothing.
Yeah.
Not only for warmth if you needed it, but because that's a bag that has something for all of us in it. So I remember buying long johns and stuff like that for everybody. And obviously, Trey has since grown out of that considerably. And he's not at home anymore, so there's that.
Yeah.
That's not really a consideration as much anymore. Although, I do have stuff around the house that, he's kind of my size, so he would fit into
And having
my
spares of
old
stuff
clothing.
never hurts.
Yep. And I always say that, you're more likely to have to be in your house for an extended period without, without the restock and resupply of food and things like that. So that's the thing you want to prepare for. This is more of a grab and go type thing if you had to. And this is kind of last ditch. Like if I'm using this stuff, something's really, really bad.
Yeah, we got a problem.
Yeah. So yeah, that's kind of a quick look at my B. Let's say B minus. I give it B minus.
There you go.
Yeah. I wouldn't give it a C plus. I would give it a B minus. Okay, thanks for listening to Gear Tasting Radio. Hope you enjoyed us going over my B minus bug out bag. I
just want to stress that B minus.
Yeah,
okay.
B minus,
not a C plus.
Anyway, if you have questions, use the pound tag Gear Tasting. I think that now that I'm looking at all this stuff, we're going to start kind of going through this maybe section by section on future episodes. We can talk about kind of the ways that I would replace things, because this is a gear show and we're talking about gear related stuff. I think kind of knocking this down into like fire building, or fire being a category, signaling being a category. I don't know what else. Food gathering. Yeah. So I think that would be a good look at this stuff, and hopefully you guys agree. Leave us some comments and let us know. Again, pound tag Gear Tasting for any questions, and we'll get them answered here on the show. And as always, we have our crew leader membership, which allows you to kind of get back something in return for your support in our membership. And even if you can't support, we very much appreciate your review on iTunes. Leave us a little review, comment. Hopefully you're going to rate it 5 stars. Allows Apple to kind of show us around in the podcast world and get more people watching. Thanks again.